The galaxy was silent, but it was not peaceful. In the last solar cycle, over 300 planets had fallen. Cities turned to ash, moons shattered like glass. Species that had thrived for thousands of years were now extinct. The reason behind it all was one name: the Narax Dominion. They came without warning. No demands, no negotiations, just destruction. Their ships were dark, fast, and endless. Every fleet sent to stop them vanished. No one knew how the Narax had grown so strong. Some said they used ancient technology. Others believed they were controlled by something even worse. But one thing was certain: they could not be stopped. Fear moved faster than light. The Galactic Council, a union of the most powerful species, met in emergency. The chambers on grind were cold and tense. Over 100 alien leaders argued, shouted, and blamed each other. Some begged to surrender, others wanted to hide. A few spoke of fighting back, but they had no plan. Their fleets were weak, their defenses broken. Then something happened. Far away, in a forgotten corner of Council space, a signal came online. It wasn't loud. It didn't scream for help. It was quiet, like a whisper, an old human signal. The technician who saw it first thought it was an error. After all, humans were gone. They'd vanished 3 centuries ago after a great war. Their worlds destroyed. Their systems went dark. Some believed they destroyed themselves. Others thought the Narax had finished them. No one really knew. But the signal was clear. It came from Sector X-47, near the ruins of a burned human colony. The attached file was strange, encrypted in old Earth code. The words pulsed in white light. Oblivion on a line. Council scientists tried to decode it. But before they could finish, a hyperspace distortion appeared near the colony. A ship dropped out of FTL, a ship no one had seen before. It was massive, dark gray, ancient armor plates, glowing red engines. No name, no signal, no markings. But sensors confirmed one thing: it was human. The Council watched in silence. "This can't be," whispered Chancellor Retak of the Philarii. "They were extinct." "Then what is that?" growled General Vox of the Kroganar. No one had an answer. The ship floated near the remains of the colony, unmoving. Fires burned below on the planet. Smoke reached into the sky like hands begging for help. The ship didn't respond to messages, didn't scan, didn't send data. It was just watching. Then something happened. A Narax scout patrol, 3 destroyers strong, entered the system. They didn't wait. The Narax never waited. They fired. Bright beams of energy slammed toward the human ship. What happened next shocked the galaxy. The ship didn't dodge, didn't run. Its surface glowed red. A shield of unknown energy absorbed the attack. Then, in less than 5 seconds, it answered, a single pulse of blue light. The first ship exploded. The second was torn in half by something invisible. The third tried to escape. It didn't get far. The battle lasted 12 seconds. The Council watched in disbelief. "That ship. It's a relic," said Counselor Valen. "How is it doing this?" "Perhaps it's not just a ship," said a deep voice. Heads turned. It was Eldar Kroll, the oldest known being in the galaxy. A creature who had lived since before the Council was born. He stared at the screen, glowing eyes narrow. "There were stories," Kroll said slowly. "Stories of Earth, building one final weapon, not made for war, made for the end of war." Silence followed. Back in Sector X-47, the human ship turned slowly. Its engines pulsed. It moved toward a nearby system, one where another colony had gone dark. Still, it said nothing. No one knew what it wanted. No one knew who was inside. But now, one thing was certain. Humanity was not gone. They had been waiting, and something had awakened them. The galaxy buzzed with questions. Every species, every council, every war fleet, all had one thought: who was inside the ship? Message storage system opened an ancient protocol, one not activated in over 2 centuries. The AI paused, its core algorithms shifting. For the first time since reawakening, it hesitated. It replayed the voice. We gave everything. Be better. The Yam. Words echoed through its circuits. Not an order, not a command, a plea. Aegis reevaluated its parameters. Selective retaliation, protection of the innocent. And now, continuation of hope. It adjusted course. Elsewhere, the Nurak Dominion was not idle. Warlord Rexar, humiliated by the loss at Zareth Prime, had begun rallying fleets. But something had changed. Fear. Whispers spread through the ranks about the ship that didn't speak in threats, but acted with precision and restraint. Officers who once salivated at conquest now hesitated at the sight of a blue shimmer in the stars. On a neutral planet in council space, envoys from dozens of species convened again, not to prepare for war, but to discuss peace. Not because they trusted each other, but because Aegis had become a silent referee. Every faction now asked the same question: what would Aegis allow? Back on Raylos Prime, Chancellor Redek's exploration team sent their first update. Nothing in the Sol system, just ash and wreckage. Earth's moon base was hollow. Mars was scarred and lifeless. The only thing that worked was the beacon from which Vela had retrieved the message. No humans, and yet signs of something else. Signs that someone, or something, had been watching the ruins. Data cores stripped clean, recent tracks in dust, a handprint on glass. Meanwhile, Aegis had altered course again. Its scans had detected something, a deep space signal, weak but consistent, hidden beneath a pirate outpost in Sector 9Y. The ship approached, cloaked in silence. Its systems didn't arm, didn't warn. Instead, it listened, and when it arrived, it found not a threat, but survivors, a band of refugees, not humans, dozens of species huddled together, hiding from the Nurak. The pirates had enslaved them. Now, they were free. Aegis didn't speak. It simply opened its cargo bays, released food, medicine, and a medical drone. Then it drifted away. On the council floor, Vela stood before the assembly for the first time. She wasn't a leader, just a researcher. But when she spoke, they listened. The humans are gone. But what they stood for, that survives. Aegis isn't a weapon. It's a memory, a warning, a mirror. If we want to survive what's coming, we don't need more ships. We need to remember who we are. Silence followed. Not fearful this time, but thoughtful. Far beyond known space, past the outer rim, Aegis scanned something new. A signal like none it had ever recorded. Not Nurak, not Council, ancient, hungry. It came from a dead galaxy, and Aegis turned toward it. Its final log updated: Earth is gone, the innocent remain. I remember, I endure. Then it vanished beyond the stars, and the galaxy, for the first time in centuries, waited not in fear, but in hope. Lights responded. On distant worlds, humans once thought extinct awoke from deep sleep. In derelict ships drifting between suns, old captains stirred. Messages once lost found their way home. The signal spread, not like a weapon, but like a heartbeat. In council chambers, silence held. In the deepest vaults of the Narak's dominion, warlords watched, but none gave the order to strike. Even pirates, rebels, and forgotten colonies turned their eyes to the growing human fleet. A new power had risen, but not one forged in conquest. This power was born from memory, from the will to endure, from the quiet resolve of those who refused to be erased. Aegis remained in orbit above the reclaimed colony. Below, humans walked through dust and ruin, planting food, repairing structures, clearing ash from old monuments. Children laughed where once only silence reigned. Elias Thorne walked among them, not as a general, not as a savior, but as one of them, a builder, a remnant. From orbit, ships continued to arrive, some primitive, barely functioning, others gleaming with strange hybrid tech. Each one carried more than cargo. They carried proof. Humanity had survived not in fortresses or fleets, but in fragments, in hope. In time, the Council formally recognized the new human alliance. They offered resources, alliances, apologies. Elias accepted with caution. "We remember everything," he said in the great chamber, "but we do not come seeking vengeance. We come because the stars are ours too." Across the galaxy, a quiet shift began. Treaties were rewritten, borders redrawn, and in every major station a small plaque was placed. It bore no threats, no warnings, only 5 words. Earth fell, humanity stood again, and far away beyond explored space, where no map dared go, the signal still pulsed, calling others home.